All right, so my name is Eric Lacoste. I'm the owner of SEO Expert Las Vegas. I've been doing SEO for about the last 5-6 years. My specialty is always organic growth of a website. So you name the industry, financial advisors, junk removal, water delivery, leadership consultants, and even strip clubs. Strip clubs are fascinating as far as the math is concerned, just because of the structure and pattern that people follow when it comes to SEO. So the beginning part of my lecture is always going to be the basics of SEO, and then I will run into my specific topic. These are the 3 pillars of SEO. Any functioning website that has ever existed needs to have these 3 pillars, and they need to be structured accordingly. Technical SEO is the load speed of the actual website. If there's animations, if there's movies, if there's incorrect grammar, if there's spelling errors, good luck keeping someone on your website. Server codes, does it pass the 200 series? Is there 301 redirects? 404 pages not found? If you have 404 pages not found, you have to address those, because that is what people are actually going to click on, and you need to make sure that the structure and the coding of the website is right so that they actually go to the website. Broken links and the HTTPS, which is the security SSL protocol. We all see these all the time, because if you click it and it says it's not secure, do you want to continue? It's very easy. It's 20 minutes to get an SSL certificate. You have to have one to be, just as all basic stuff. The most important thing about technical SEO is not necessarily the desktop, it's the mobile. If your website is slow on mobile, you will know, because people won't come to your website. Now at the very bottom is title, meta, and alt tags. Title obviously is the name of the website. The meta is the description, which in the SEO world we have very specific calculations as to how you actually write that. Some SEOs are in the philosophy of writing the actual location of the business. Others, like myself, put a question in there. The question derives from the biggest concern of the actual visitor, and the answer being the title of the website. Alt tags. People miss on alt tags all the time. You could specifically put the type of pictures in your website, program into the wording the name of the business with the location, because you can actually rank for your photos. You don't necessarily have to rank for what's being written on your website. You can have people look up photos of you and rank on that. Content. Now, this is a big one in the SEO world because of December of last year. Instagram and Facebook derived from their algorithms that they are going to be using the same algorithm type as Google, which means search intent. No more hashtags. You got to get rid of those. They don't exist anymore. So the way that I'm going to explain in the next slide what search intent is, if you are not using search intent, you're not going to get anything, and no one's coming to you from social media, period. Right? Even with that, when you make a post, you better make a video with it, because video is actually ranking higher than actual static posts. It's part of the system now. Whenever you want to create a piece of content, you need 4 different ways in which to promote that content so that it brings it back to the one place that's the most important. The one place that's most important, which is your website. That's all it comes down to. That's where the funnel begins. On-page SEO. This is the one element of SEO that people overlook, because they don't want to engineer down their websites to the core element of deriving the solution to the problem. This is where you won't rank for keywords based on a story. If you have 4 paragraphs to describe yourself in a story, how do you rank for that? You can't. You rank for the words associated with your business. Blogs. Blogs have been around for 30 years. Since the infancy of the internet, they're still just as relevant today. That's the only way you're going to rank for keywords, is by writing blogs. However, the way that you write it is what I step into the next slide, which is describing search intent. And the last one is backlinks. Every single business I've ever done audits on miss backlinks by a landslide. This one thing is what separates the hobbies from the businesses. How many directories have you put your business into? How many articles have been featured with the Las Vegas news groups, with the Chamber of Commerce? How have you sold your business website to put it in other places so that you get their share of their traffic and you start sharing the linking? The entire internet is based on linking, not on anyone being an individual island. How have you taken your website and put it in front of other people, right? Now, when it comes to Google, it's my job to learn the algorithm. It's not my client's job to know the algorithm. On the key webmaster's documentation with Google, it literally states, we rank based on this. This is search intent. There is nothing else that they care about. Search intent is broken down into 4 elements: informational, navigational, transactional, and commercial. So what does this mean? Informational. I always like to use the example of a bike shop. Say we're all part of a bike shop here in Las Vegas. Informational is the name of the bike shop, the address of the bike shop, the phone number for the bike shop, and the website of the bike shop. It's all informational. We can kiss this goodbye with AI. AI has taken this over with generative AI, but it doesn't mean it's gone from us. You can still put it on your website, you can still put it in directories, you can still use it in your posts. Navigational. If you were selling bike parts on a separate part of your business, like a database or a forum, and you needed people to navigate away from Google to your website, that's navigational intent. It's the navigating out of Google with a link to somewhere else. Netflix, Facebook logins, those are going away from Google search results page. Transactional. This is where you make your money. Most affordable bikes, most comfortable bike seats, longest lasting bike chains. These are specific items that you are giving intent to sell, and the person looking for it is looking to buy. Commercial is where you get to compare yourself to other bike shops. Commercial intent is so obtuse because it has really nothing to do with, it's more on expanding the business commercially instead of just information, right? Why do people need to care and even look at what you do? I've written a blog on the best 3 bikes in Las Vegas for the next 3 months. Cool, you wrote that blog, you'll rank for best 3 bikes, you've put it out into the internet with a video, a blog, and a post. Now you're bringing in other people, and now Instagram is saying, wow, you probably understand search intent, we'll start ranking up your website higher based on those words. So, now that we understand search intent, how do you put it into your website? There's another acronym, EEAT. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. This is the foundation of keyword development. You get the keywords by expressing, I am the most experienced bike shop in Las Vegas. I have been in business for 15 years. I am the #1 authority of selling and procuring bikes. I'm the most trusted bike dealer in Las Vegas.
So you use the words though?
Yes. Words derived from search intent with the correct type of search intent. Now, certain words have multiple intents, right? Say we're selling bike shop, we're selling tires, but we know that it's coming into the summertime, so we want to sell more hardball tires, right? You would use the posts that you would write to let your people know, or let people know that the next few months, these tires are going to be important. I know they're important because I've been doing this for a long time. Come to my shop or visit my site to get your tires. You see, that's search intent. That's what the whole derivative of social media is not getting because people are just posting stupid photos. You want to be posting for the future because you want them to come to make their purchases now because you're talking about something that's happening next, right? That is the hardest part about SEO, is trying to convince people that this is how it works. And this isn't anything that's made up. This is literally in Google's webmaster documentation. This is how you start to acquire keywords. This is what search intent is about. This is what separates the hobbies from the businesses. Now, got to talk about Google Ads. Now, 4 or 5 months ago, when I was a little more younger and doing these presentations, I was very old school in SEO. I thought there's no need to do ads. There's absolutely none. Because if you're not growing organically, what's the point of purchasing? Why rent it? It's changed because ads can add more water to your plant, and you can see through ads if you need to change things on your website. You can do it very quickly. Now, do you need to find a PPC agency to do ads? No, you need an SEO that knows your current ranking keywords to write your PPC. Because if you're already ranking for it, now you can double dip. And so many corporations are double dipping. They already have the #1 keyword ranking for a certain word, and then they pay for the ads on top of it. They want complete control of the digital real estate. That's how it's supposed to work, right? Now, if you are on page 9 for something, and you know that there's a lot of people searching for it, you can start a small campaign just to see where you could go. But don't forget, you don't own that keyword. Just because you're paying for it, you don't own it, you're renting it. And now you get to see, based on that keyword that you're purchasing, where the leaks in your business are, because they will show up. Are they staying on the page longer? Are they using the right keywords to find you? And are you putting those keywords in your business so that they stay there? That's what Google Ads can do. Now, I'm still old school. I still believe that a business website should grow organically over time. It should. It's your business. You have to put yourself into your business, but you have to keep it simple because, to be honest, in my experience, most people read at a 6th grade level. So if you're using long, large syllable words, I can tell if it's working because we can see the bounce rate. How long are they staying on their website? Are they actually clicking around and moving around in your website? Because the golden number for time on website is 1 minute. If you can get people to stay on your website for 1 minute, that's the gold standard. Most businesses, you're lucky if you get 15 seconds. 15, that's it. Because either there's something wrong with the page layout, the copy is too much, there's too many photos, there's too many animations. It needs to be simpler. So, this is how I explain how SEO works. Imagine your business is this seed. The ground is Google. As you grow with your business, this is the stuff that you see. The layout of the business website, your postings, your videos, all the fun stuff that makes the plant your unique plant on the garden. SEOs, like myself, we care only about the roots. The roots hold the plant up. Keyword research, backlinks, your content. How simple are you making this so that you can actually have derivative data on conversions? If you're not getting conversions, if people are not calling you, that's a root problem. It's not the problem of the plant looking good. You might think that the plant looks good, but most people that, using this analogy, they don't want to look at this. They don't want to look at it because they're probably scared of how far down it is. And I see it all the time. Hey, Eric, I need you to do an audit on my website. Okay, cool. How long have you been in business? Oh, about 10 years. How much are you getting in your traffic? Oh, but I was getting about 100 visits a month. Now I'm 10. Okay, let's take a look. Let's look under the hood. Yep, you're about there. That's what you see. Way down there are your roots. When was the last time you did an audit on your technical SEO? Oh, I've never done one. Oh, okay. When was the last time you did keyword research? When was the last time you derived those keywords into the types of search intent? I haven't done it yet. That's where we start, right? Now, this is the first half. Second half, why social media followers don't equal traffic. This is a big one, because how do you quantify money from your followers? Is there a Is there a monetary amount from 100 followers to 1,000 followers? Nope. Because, fact number one, you don't own the audience. The platform does. It's like printing flyers, giving it to a bouncer, and hoping the bouncer passes them out. It doesn't mean that social media is irrelevant. It's very, very relevant. But you have to understand, at least from the SEO perspective, SEOs don't like social media because there's nothing to gain data about. It's their platform. You can't see anything else. However, if you use the right amount of words and keep it simple and drive urgency to your website, you can get something tangible. An email, a phone call, a text. That's the asset that you want. That's the conversion. But you can't get that just because you put a Facebook post up, right? It has to have a purpose, right? If we want to look at the funnel of all of marketing, social media is always going to be at the top. It's always about awareness. But the next step below that is interest. What are you posting that's creating interest in making or solving a problem? That's it. That's all Facebook, that's all Instagram, that's all LinkedIn, that's all of that. What are you posting to drive interest? Because the solving of that problem is your website, because that's the next step. Once they get to your website, if your on-page SEO is on point, you get the action. They make a decision on your website. They don't make a decision on social media. They're driving your interest on social media. Number two, viral posts rarely drive consistent qualified traffic. I hear this one a lot. All I want is a viral video. All I want is a viral video. Okay, cool. What do you want to do? Fall down some stairs, jump into the Bellagio fountain? What do you want to do? Okay, cool. 15 minutes. So how did that traffic work out for you? Well, I got a lot of views. How many conversions? Well, no one bought anything on my website. Of course not. Going viral is not the solution. It's the Red Bull of social media. It's quick and it's fast. You want to drive a message of that you are the best at what you do, and if you are not looking at me or talking to me, you're missing out on the opportunity. It's no more time for stories. It's more about driving urgency, using psychology against the people to come to you, because you are the solution to the problem. You have to let them know that, right? Last one. Even if you have the greatest Facebook, Instagram campaign of all time, thousands of likes, hundreds of shares, the people that are interested are still going to come off those social media platforms and they're going to look you up on Google. They're going to find your website. They're going to look at just more than just the Instagram, because now what did you do? You did exactly as I said. You drove interest. Now you have to drive the equity and the real estate of everything else around it, right? They came to your website. What's the first thing on your website? Is it a photo? Is it scrolling animations? Or is it 3 words that describe who you are and why your EEAT is better than anyone else in the city? That's how SEO works. All right? Any questions? No.
So are you saying that social, is the socials only relevant if it can very concretely drive you to the website?
From the SEO perspective, yes, because that's the top of the funnel, right? Backlinks, you can't get backlinks from Facebook. You can't yet. None of the socials actually show backlinks, right? Except for one, you can consider Yelp. They give a backlink, right? The social media has its place. Don't get me wrong. You do your keyword research to understand how to post. But that's the fallback, right? You need the socials to have a place because it's so far up on the funnel. Just because it's far up in the funnel doesn't mean it's completely removed from everything else, right? There has to be something that it comes to, and that is to get them to the website. That's the whole point, right? Now, in my last lecture, I talked about the scams. And one of the scams I see all the time, especially on Instagram, is the link tree, okay? From an SEO perspective, link tree is an absolute pile of crap because you cannot get any data from it, right? As an SEO, I am paid to find the data from my clients. Who came to your website? How long were they there? What was the words that they used to find you? You can't get that on LinkedIn. You just can't, or on Linktree. It doesn't work. It's a static, closed profile. It just looks good and it's popular, but you could build a landing page on your web page with the URL of your links and get the data from that and post that into your Instagram. The point is because Linktree is so popular, everybody needs it. Everyone's like, oh, you gotta have it. No, you don't. You're not gonna know anything. You can't rank for keywords on your Linktree. You can't rank for traffic. But you can if you built a URL and made little buttons of all your links. You can do that, right? Looks like you got another question. Or too many. Any other questions? I know this was a lot of information. The whole point of it being is that the social media and SEO have to work together. It is a symbiotic relationship. It has to work together. But many people are not using the platform to its fullest ability, and they're not driving traffic to their website. They're just not. They think 5 likes is successful. Okay, fine. But 5 likes with 5 visits to your website, that's successful, right? It has to have a reason, it has to have a purpose, because hashtags are gone. Those days are over with hashtags. So now it comes down to how you say what you need to say to establish your search intent. Those 4 categories is what makes or breaks a business now. The algorithm has already came out and said this is what we're ranking on. And if you're not utilizing your keyword research into these 4 categories, you're wasting the post. And I see it all the time. I see very strong businesses that have very weak social platforms. Very, very weak. Because they don't know how to post. Right? They won't tell AI, this is what I care about based upon my keywords. Make me posts that derive from these 4 elements. Right? And they surely don't even understand this yet. They just don't. They don't want to talk about how awesome they are, how many years they've been in business, that they're the trusted person in Las Vegas. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because that means they're putting their ego on a platform and they don't want to get their ego bruised. I'm sorry, business is war. This is not fun. This is how it works. If you are not fighting, someone's going to take you out, right? So the best thing to do is be on the offensive. Understanding how the rules are made up, this and that. That's all I ever need. That's all I ever tell my clients that they have to worry about. Let me take care of the algorithm. Let me take care of the back end stuff. You just focus on what words you want to start ranking for and where they fall into those categories.
I mentioned on the other slide that you don't have to have all 4 of them in one post, right?
You're right. And that, I don't want you to get confused. Like, it's not like your posts have to be robotic. Like, I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm the trust. But those are 4 different sentences that can be used, not just on one, but all 4 different platforms. You could use EAT for the same post, but write it for an expertise on Facebook, authoritativeness on Instagram, trustworthiness on LinkedIn. Now at that point, you are in a different element of SEO because you're taking topical keywords with search intent, but you're dispersing it into different areas with the same intent, but different copy. That would confuse clients if I told them about doing that, but that's where we're evolving into. That's how we're evolving in SEO because it has to have a purpose.
Does this mean also that your bio, whether in Instagram or on LinkedIn, or would better have those keywords?
That is a very good question. From a ranking standpoint, because bios don't really rank well in the scope of a web page. They just don't, right? Your home page, contact page, those are your two. Those are your two most important pages, right? And anything else. Bio, I'm going to say yes, but keep it as minimal as possible because you want to talk about who you are, right? Where you've been, what you've been doing, all this stuff. That in and itself is EAT. That's still in itself these things. However, on a bio page, that's where you link businesses that you've worked with before that you don't have much association with. You put those links at the bottom of your bio. Use the bio page as a backlink magnet.
On social or your website?
Your website, right? Because now that's measurable. So say we're doing a bike shop, right? I worked at another bike shop many years before. I have my own bike shop now. In my bio, I used to work at Acme Bike Shop 10, 15 years ago. Here's their link, right? Now you let them, it's called the backlink, right? So a backlink is your information, your website, hyperlinked to somewhere else, and that somewhere else website links back to you, right?
So the backlink, it loops?
Yes, so there's two categories. There's follow and no follow. Everyone wants the follow. So follow is, I have my business website. I linked that you and I went on a project together. You said, yep, I worked with SEO Expert Las Vegas. This is his website. I have a link to you. You have a link to me. It's a follow, right? So people that follow me are going to be introduced to your website because I have a link to it. That's a follow backlink. So what does that mean, right? I surge in traffic. I get 100+ more visits to my website. You start to go up in rank as well. It's called internal linking. It's one of the most powerful elements of the online website world because my strength, the fact that you have a follow backlink with me, you start to get the strength as well because more people that are coming to me have a probability of going to you.
So for example, we're talking about making your bio my background is in physical therapy, and I would have the Physical Therapy Association, California, and then you'll have like the Dominican Hospital, and all of the DBT Health that I work for. Does that mean there's benefit to
hyperlinking it all? Yep. If you want to talk about what you have done, because it's establishing this, right? You don't have your experience because you just made it up. You have experience because you've done things.
Right.
We'll put that in your bio.
And then
hyperlink to their websites. Now, to make it as beneficial as possible, you would go to them and say, hey, I linked to your website. Can you link back to me?
Okay.
Right? Some institutions, what's that? Hopefully they do. If they don't worry about it. It's not a big deal because that internal linking helps you. The greatest benefit of all is if they came back. If they said, oh, we've worked with you, here's a link to her website.
So we have to be, like for example, we have the LosAngelesTribune.com.
Yep.
And people are linking their articles that are posted in our website, but we do not intently backlink to them.
That's an issue.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait, sorry, what did you say?
So we read a news, and so people all the time are linking. For example, I was featured in the Los Angeles Tribune, you can read my article here.
Mm-hmm.
But we are on our part, we are not consciously accepting those links to be able to return
If
back.
it's an article about this business, do you put the link to their business in the articles?
Yeah.
That works.
That
It has to work on both ways. For it to work, it doesn't mean that because one end is going, like that they're linking, that it's not going to work. It just have to go somewhere. It's if they come back, right? So here's an example. Say you wrote an article and it got picked up by the Wall Street Journal, right? Your traffic's going to go through the roof, right? Why? You linked to the Wall Street Journal and the Wall Street Journal linked back to you. Now, if you were to go to UNLV and say, hey, I wrote an article with UNLV and this is the article, and it goes to UNLV site and UNLV doesn't link back, that's the follow, no follow, okay? It doesn't mean that the Wall Street Journal did everything right, that's why your traffic goes up. You'll still get more traffic if you work with UNLV, but you won't get the follow backlink because they didn't put a hyperlink on their website. This is someone who we worked with, right? So it has to be reciprocal. If it isn't, it's not the end of the deal. The point is, the fact that you're thinking about it now, 20 steps ahead of most of the people in this city that don't understand how backlinks work. They don't understand it and they don't want to talk about it. And then I do an audit and they have 5 backlinks. Where me, I do this for a living, I have 500 and I gain 30 a month because I've worked all this time to build and build and build citations after citations after citations. And because of that, I know that backlinks as a ranking factor is what separates the hobbies from the businesses. Because if you're not using this third pillar, your business is going to fall over.
Backlinks would look like the glue that people can hyperlink.
Yep. You hover over it and you click it, and that's the hypertext. And even in the SEO world, we have a calculated stats on the word that you use to link itself. That's called a hyperlink text. There are certain words, instead of just click here, right? You could have certain allocated keywords that if they scroll over it and they click it, you would get credit for the word that's being linked. That's SEO complex, like PhD level stuff, right? Because I study that, I nerd out about this stuff all the time. So the whole point is that most people don't understand SEO. They just don't. They see it as a buzzword on Google. They read it, watch a couple videos on keyword research, and they're like, I don't want to deal with this. It's difficult stuff, right?
It's what you get paid for.
Well, and the thing is, it's what I like to do. This is especially in Las Vegas, this city has so much traffic on casinos and the words, right?
Sure.
The most searched word in Las Vegas is hotels Las Vegas. 12.5 million searches a month. It is the most searched word in this city. Because it's the most searched word, it's like $400 a click if you wanted to run a campaign on it. Now, how many websites own that? 5. Only the top 5, and they've been holding that keyword in position for the last 7 years. Hotels.com, Vegas.com, Trivago, Expedia, and one of the other lower ones. They own that keyword, and they've never let it go for almost 6 years, right? Every keyword comes with a price because it's derived from the amount of people that search it and the price that they're willing to rent it, right? Now, if you wanted to build a very systematic campaign, you would look at what the current ranking keywords are. And then you would go into another element of advanced SEO, which is topical mapping. So say we wanted to rank for bicycle shops in Las Vegas. We would derive from a topical map what a bicycle is. Tires, handlebars, chains, roads, all these things that you would want to work on to rank for first, so that the search intent for bike shops in Las Vegas is recognized from this, so that you start to get more traffic. But if you don't let people know that you're doing this through your backlinks, no one will rank you at all. So all of this comes into a system. The biggest part of this whole lecture is that you understand that there's 3 pillars that every website needs to be strong in, or at least be understanding that this is what rises you above everyone else. Now, if you're in a business that is taken over in your industry core keywords by a franchise, which I do see a lot, a franchise that just happens to have a Las Vegas page, and because of all their SEO, they just get top spot. My understanding and my feeling about franchises in a business is that that's a good thing. You want someone that is so big that you can start tearing them apart and chopping at them. Because they may own that one keyword, but they don't own every keyword associated with that industry. That's where you can derive your search intent and your EAT from. How do you chip at them every single post about things that they're not doing? That adds the competition, right? And SEOs like myself, I love competition. Let me see who else you're up against, because now you've given me a reason to start looking at their backlinks, their keywords, their social posts. And that's the one thing that SEOs that enjoy the competition, that's what separates us, because that's our number one enemy at that point.
So question, in terms of exactness of words.
Yep.
If people are, for example, searching for Las Vegas, and your name is only Vegas, does that put you at a disadvantage, or does it matter because Vegas exists in Las Vegas?
So if someone's searching Las Vegas, you're going to have the search results page is going to show the geography, right? Because Las Vegas is a town. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have a social profile that's Vegas, it'll show up at the bottom because all that informational intent is being shown in the very top. Okay. Population, name, they'll even throw in, I guarantee if you put in Las Vegas in Google, when do you want to come? So they'll have a flight snippet. Yeah. Or you know what I mean? So, and they'll have a location, they'll have a map of where Las Vegas is. That's search intent. All of that is search intent because Google knows, and they're going to show you what you think you want to know before you know it. Go ahead.
So, okay. I'm curious how important social here is, because the question I have is, like, for businesses that are local, let's say you need a physical therapist. I want one in Vegas. I don't want one in LA. I want one in Vegas, and preferably not too far from my house for work. And in a bike shop, I want the same thing. I also have a client person I'm working with who has an auto body shop. Yep. His customers have gone down in the last couple months. He thinks it's because Las Vegas tourism has gone down, whatever. So my thinking for those people who want local is the first thing is, okay, what's going on with your website and SEO for sure. But second of all, I don't think, to my current knowledge, that I would suggest a lot of social to them, because like that's not going to get them customers. Especially since they only want local people.
Right. So the first thing to address after the website is, do they have a Google business profile active?
Oh, yes,
okay.
True, yes.
Because you can post on that.
Yeah.
Right?
That I know is important as part of the SEO.
Yep.
I'm thinking like Instagram and Facebook, like, does that really...
So Facebook groups, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a big one for posting the informational intent words, name, address, physical location. You're not going to do...
Groups?
Facebook groups. Yep. So locals, Las Vegas small business. I have like 60 groups that I'm a part of. Yeah, Facebook groups, right?
They join them.
You join them. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, but you got to look at the rules, because some of those groups don't allow promotions. So you got to find the ones that just have open posting, right?
That helps search, like I'm Googling auto body shop or whatever, and the words in the Facebook group will help heighten me on Google.
If you write it right. So this is where that awareness thing that I came into, right? Just because you found a Facebook group for local Las Vegians, you have to put a URL in the post to go to the website. You got to. It's got to be somewhere there, right? Or it's linked in the photo, right? But the whole point of posting to the group is to let people know that you exist, right? Now, if it's not that, say it's a physical therapist, you have a little more leeway with posting to those groups, because a physical therapist is also selling the emotion of feeling better, right? Through their practice. So it's not necessarily name, address, physical location, but it's also transactional, maybe even commercial intent, right? If there's a free assessment that this physical therapist is doing, that's something you can post, because that is transactional in nature. And it would come back to booking on the website. So it really depends on the nature of the business, how quickly they need to make transactions. A bike shop, it's quick. People are not going to really dilly-dag about what kind of bike they want. They know the bike. They just want to find the place nearest them. If you don't have a Google My Business profile, you won't get the near me keyword.
Well, I think most people have. Well, I don't know. Maybe not.
If they have a physical location, they qualify on Google My Business for the near me,
Yeah,
right?
well, I'm saying, I feel like most people I see online have a Google My Business
If it's through Yelp, different. Through Yelp, right? So you could qualify for Near Me through Yelp, but you have to click on Yelp to get to the profile in Yelp, because Yelp is still a directory that's like a social platform. It's like Facebook, right? It's not part of the search engines. It's a separate web page.
But yeah, you want the Google My Business.
Yeah, and you want the Google My Business, you have to have the profile. There's no other way around it. Either physical location or service, right? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do social media, it has to be more specific. Like
You do. You got to look at social media differently because everyone's been doing it the same,
Yeah.
right?
Like, posting a cool video on Instagram is like going not going anywhere.
Exactly. And not to say that it's not cool, yeah, but if you're in business,
Like,
you're
you make a cool video and post it in the Facebook group.
right. Or if you really wanted to do it, write a blog, make a video about the blog, and then put those into the platforms. Because now they have an intention to come to your website because you wrote a blog. And now you can qualify for keywords because you've actually fulfilled EAT along with search intent with your blogs. Every single blog that you write should have a derivative quotient strategy as to what you want to rank for and how you're going to say it. 1,200 to 1,500 words with outboard links and photos. That's the requirement, right? Anything less, it doesn't work. Anything more, it becomes way too much scatter. And the reason why you want to keep it between 1,200 to 1,500 is because you're going to submit it to the Google Search Console once you're done. You're going to go into the Search Console, find the URL of your blog, and you're going to manually submit it to Google to say, index this now. Because you can do that, yeah. I do it all the time. You should. It should be a practice.
Most people wouldn't do that.
Right, because they're waiting for Google to do it for them. That's the problem. Google does not care about what type of blog post you wrote. If you are doing blog posts for your clients, it should be a part of when you hit enter to submit, you should grab the URL and put it into the Google Search Console. You are forcing Google to index it instead of waiting for them to do it, because it could take 3 months.
Oh, they'll do it, but they'll take
They'll eventually get it, because that's what the robots are, right? So when you look at how Google indexes something, I will use my plants. When you go into and launch your website, it's in the ground, starting to get some roots. Google does something to your website, and it's called the Sandbox. It's a 3-month penalty in which you will not be able to see who came to your website, what the words were associated with it, and what was the derived bounce rate from your website. They're not going to, it's 3 months, you're done. You're not going to find that out. The reason is because of indexing. Think of indexing as little ants, and they're going to come to your website, and they're going to grab code, and they're going to bring it back to the Hive, the servers. 3 months is enough for Google to find your website. Oh, shoot, we got a new website on this URL. Oh, what's the name? Cool, that's the name. Oh, what's the meta description? Oh, that's the meta description. What's the internal structure? If you were to write blog posts, you're waiting for that bot to find you. If you write that post and you take that URL and you force it into Google Search Console, you're saying, you know what? Take this. You're forcing that. You're not even waiting for the ants to get it. You're throwing it right into the Hive, right? What does that do for your business? What does that do for your clients? It makes search faster. You can start backlinking it right away. You don't have to wait for anything. You can start pushing that content the next minute onto the socials. Make a video for it. Post it. Post to all the groups, all to LinkedIn, all to TikTok and Instagram, because you've taken the proactive step of saying, this was what I created, now index it. And if there's, go ahead.
Question on putting links in social media. I was told, or maybe it's from somewhere gossip down the line, that whenever there's a link in the social media post, it's penalized by algorithm. Like algorithm, social media platforms wanted to get paid for links, because that means you're doing business versus, you're just dropping links to share. What are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely wrong, because in the SEO world, in the Google Analytics profile, right? So when you go with a website and you can take a look at the analytics, there's a little section in the analytics form called referral, right? That's referring to someone coming to your website from social media, right? And if they are coming to your website and you put a link to your website in that post and they click it, Google annotates it as a one referral. And once they come to that website, as an SEO, I can start seeing everything they've done. How long were they on the website? How many times did they hit the scroll button? And I even have other elements that I can see the heat map. I can see in real time the second they got to your website and where the cursor went. That's why you link everything in your social posts. Everything. You're not going to get penalized because it's all part of that ecosystem. It just depends on what you want them to link to. If you keep on doing the same thing, if you keep on linking to your website, that becomes a pattern in of itself over time. But if you do blog posts, if you link to a backlink to another person that was worked with you, now you're adding more diversity into your posting. And that's the element that SEOs really want their clients to get to.
So question, on the case of we use WordPress for our news.
Yep.
Is that considered, is each article considered practically a blog?
The platforms are irrelevant now. I mean, WordPress, I always have a headache with WordPress because I used Wix my entire career up until now. They all still do the same thing. It's just WordPress has a lot more buttons. And
When you say blog, what is it exactly?
so you would have a part of your website,
Yeah.
a separate tab in which you would write articles that you find important for your audience to know about, right?
Right.
Right. It's research papers.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So it's not necessarily like our news and each article could be.
Right, because now that's the traditional element of blog. If there's other things too, you could actually put onto your homepage little snippets, like an FAQ, frequently asked questions. Those are ranking because those are tiny little blogs, and you can write the back-end programming to force Google to index it as a snippet. So whenever you go into Google and you see those little tabs with questions and you hit it and that little answer comes in, that's a blog. That's a blog.
Okay.
But it's also a snippet, and that's a ranking factor as well. Right? Got it.
So I have to go, but I have one last question. But I think this is all really great. So if you go onto a website to do your audit or whatever, and you're like, oh man, this website's like needs some updating, like a lot of updating, and it needs to be redone and everything. That's like a different thing. Do you do that, or do you just say, oh, you have to go to a website guy first and come back to me?
So whenever that happens, I do know other web designers. There's some, I don't do graphics. I don't do web development. I can fix things. Right?
Just wondering when you have to
Right. See, and that's the step after we find all the real issues.
Okay.
What I do is I make sure, does this thing even load? Does it even have any 404 pages not found, right? Got to get rid of those. And that's something that is just going into the dashboard and cutting off, right? Is the copy too much? And we can find that out by looking at the heat map. Are people hovering over the bio? Right. And if they're hovering over the bio and then they click, all the clicks are going down to linking back, well, let's cut that bio down, right?
Okay.
Because
So you do a lot.
there's a lot that I do, right? There's a lot that I've self-taught myself and then from other people that I've worked with to fix and plug holes, right?
What if they determine that they need to do some PPC? Do you
I definitely help them with that.
do that too?
Yeah, because I am all about keeping the budgets down low. Why go to a...
Yeah, you want to involve so many people.
Right, and there are agencies that rely on charging $10,000 a month. I would never charge $10,000 a month because I don't care about that. I care about the growth of the plant. This is what I care about because this is what people don't want to talk about, and this is what SEOs all care about.
Cool. Actually, no, is email the way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You got my card, right?
I haven't liked it.
Here, let me go to my last page here. There you go. Any other questions? I know this was probably a lot of information. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you, I also have this, if you leave me a review on Google My Business profile as a review, I will do a free site audit for you. No questions asked. All you gotta do is just leave a review. Even all your clients, go ahead.